Good morning, everybody. This is pop art painter Jamie Roxx, and this is Artist Notes. We're going to talk today a little bit about my latest painting I did of Charlie Chaplin. Very cool. This painting was inspired a couple months ago. Well, it was last month, actually. Um, yeah, about a month ago, maybe just over a month ago. We were in Orlando, and we were at Disney World. Me and Danny, my beautiful girlfriend, of course. We were up there, and we went on my favorite ride, and the great movie ride in Hollywood Studios. And we're going through it, and Danny says, "Hey, how come you've never painted a Charlie Chaplin?" And I never have, and I didn't have a good answer for her because he's one of the most iconic actors and just an icon of pop culture, even to this day. And you know, Charlie Chaplin was the man. And so here we are, about a month later, and I had some time to do one finally, to paint a Charlie Chaplin painting. For those who don't know, Charlie Chaplin was a English comic actor, filmmaker, composer. He rose to fame in the silent era of film, and he became a worldwide icon for his screen persona, the Tramp. And he's considered probably one of the most important figures in the history of film. His career spanned more than 75 years, from childhood in the Victorian era until a year before his death in 1977. And he had controversy, but man, he really did a lot. Uh, his childhood in London, back in the day, back in the late Victorian era, was, poverty and hardship, man. His father was absent. His mother, they were broke. Um, and it was real sad. He was sent to a workhouse twice before the age of 9. And, they used to do that back then. It wasn't cool at all. When he was 14, his mother was committed to a mental asylum. Again, not good. Not good. But he worked and did the best he could and everything. And at 19, he was signed to the prestigious Fred Carno Company, which that took him to America. And he was scouted around, and he did a lot of work for Keystone Studios. And that's when he developed the Tramp persona and formed. I mean, everybody dug it. Everybody got it. And everybody loved it. He directed his own films, and he just learned his craft as any good artist needs to do. And finally, he became real popular. And in 1919, I'm sorry, 1919, he co-founded the distribution company United Artists, which gave him control of his films. And his first feature-length film was The Kid in 1921. Now, the interesting thing about The Kid is everybody got it. Everybody knew it. It just resonated. And what some people, I don't know, I don't know how you wouldn't know this, but it was, well, if you don't know about his background, I guess it was very autobiographical. He finds this kid, this orphan, and kind of raises him, and they have adventures, and it's comedy and stuff, and it's not a big serious drama thing, but it does have some drama elements in the comedy aspect of it, and it's just a fantastic, fantastic film. Again, The Kid, Charlie Chaplin, 1921. I'm sure it's on Amazon Prime and probably on Netflix, I imagine, too. I'm sure you can find it. I know you can rent all these on YouTube, but if you've already got Hulu or Netflix and you get a chance, watch The Kid. It is a silent movie, I know, and a lot of youngsters today are like, oh, it's so boring to watch. Just trust me, man. Just don't worry about it. It's a fantastic film, and if you haven't seen it, you need to. It's a great, great film. Now, later, in another fantastic film of his, one of my all-time favorite films in cinema, was the Great Dictator, 1940, and it was a talkie, of course. This wasn't a silent film, and talkie's been out for a while, and he's one of his greatest works. There's a ton of really cool Charlie Chaplin, Modern Times, and all. Modern Times is hilarious. Oh my God, another great one. You should really sit down and have a Chaplin film night. Man, maybe I'll do that. Like have a Charlie Chaplin party. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Yeah, the Great Dictator. That's what we were talking about. it satirized Adolf Hitler, and this was in the 40s when the U.S. was still isolationist. We didn't know what an ass Hitler was, and just a psychopath. And everybody was like, "Oh, well, that's over in Europe. Let's stay out of that here in the States." And here's Chaplin, man. He's calling it like it is. He knew what was up, and and of course, people in suits freaked the hell out, and all the politicians and everything, and they accused him of being a communist, and all this stuff, and of course, the FBI investigation started, and suddenly there was a big paternity suit with a younger woman that caused a big scandal and stuff. And you know, I, I could go on a whole thing about that whole era, McCarthyism and what. Doesn't matter. Let's not get into that. Let's get into this painting. Um, but yeah, Chaplin, he was cool, man. He was the guy. He was perfectionist, but he was loaded with cash. So he directed, produced, edited, starred in, and composed the music for like his films. He's like, hey man, my name's on the door. I'm doing it right, and this is the way we're doing it. Don't worry about it. Here we go, and that's what he did. um, anyway, they the politicians with all this stuff just couldn't deal, and he was real popular. Yeah, it scared a lot of people, I think, in those idiots in Washington, Um, well, not everybody in Washington's idiots. It's at the time with McCarthyism, those guys were definitely idiots. Don't worry about it. They really were. Anyway, they took his visa. He couldn't get back in the states, man. He had to hang out in Switzerland, and he lived there for like years, like 30 years, man. And then they finally let him back in and gave him all these awards and said, yeah, we were, those guys were idiots, and we're sorry, and here you are, and you know, and that's how it went. Um, this painting, now onto the painting. Um, it was a fantastic film too with Robert Downey Jr. that where he plays Chaplin. Came out, oh gosh, about 20 years ago now, but it's a good one. It's a good one. You should check that out too. Okay, the painting. The painting I wanted to capture. There's an iconic picture. At first, I wanted to do, maybe one of the scenes from his movies, and I might do that in the future. But for this one, the initial one, I wanted to just do something that conveyed joy and happiness. There's no big hidden meaning in this. It's just it's a cool rendering of him. And I used happy colors in it. It's got a bright yellow background to it, highlighted with some happy lavenderish, purplish, lavender going towards purple. Again, no meaning there. It just contrasts nicely with the yellow background. And I know that'll probably annoy in the future somebody, in an art history class or something. But yeah, no big meaning to this. It's just he was cool. He was having a good time, and it's a happy painting, and it's a happy image. I dig it. I hope you do too. This painting is on a 16 by 20 canvas on duck painting or duck canvas, I should say. 16 by 20 is the style. This is going up. This went up last night on eBay. I should have done these last night, but I was just too tired. But yeah, you can always find our eBay paintings on my website if you go to jamieroxx.us. That's www.jamieroxx.us, and click on the thing that says eBay auctions in the navigation there. There you go. It's real easy to find. All of our paintings come professionally back finished. They've got the craft paper on the art paper on the back. They're all wired, ready to hang, ready to go on your wall. And of course, they all come with the artist Provence. That's the fancy word we use in the art world for the paperwork, the certificate of authenticity, showing that it's real, it's painted by me. It's got all my credentials on there, and including my fingerprint, and the fingerprint's also on the painting. And so there's never there's never any question about it. And that may seem like highfalutin and snooty and whatnot, but it's really not. When you get to a point, if you're not already at that point, where you start needing to, insure your stuff, including your art collection and whatnot, the insurance agency will need that. They'll require you have some form. God, I can't talk this morning, of documentation. Hey, I'm looking at the time. Man, this went a little long. Sorry about that. Thanks for listening, and on to the next painting. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.